Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be planning for the week of February 28th through March 6th, and I'm using a kit from Sweet Bean Plans called Dinosaur. This is a 5-page kit, and I also purchased a bunch of the quarter sheets that go along with this kit, as well as the matching washi. She doesn't always design a bunch of quarter sheets with each kit, but I would say this one has a pretty good amount, and I purchased all of them. I think they're adorable enough to be able to pull into future spreads, but I really loved the bright, vibrant colors in this kit. I can't remember exactly when this one came out, but this kit is in the new vinyl that she offers, so it definitely is within the last year, I would say. I decided to pull in the washi to the top of the page. I realized that there was going to be a lot of white space at the top, and this is a different style of kit than I'm used to using in this planner, so I just wanted to fill up the space with something colorful. I wasn't exactly sure what I would be doing with the headers, so I initially just used the date covers to start, and I had a lot of fun with the weekend banner. I really love the style of this weekend banner because I was just able to exclude all the headers, not even worry about that, and use the weekend banner above the entire washi banner that I made. So I just loved pulling in all the Sweet Bean Plans washi that matched this kit. I'm pretty sure all the washi I used is from Sweet Bean Plans, aside from one skinny washi from Simply Gilded. This week, PJ was finally able to take his spelling test for 150 words. He is in kindergarten, and the goal for kindergarten is to be able to read and spell 50 words, and he was actually able to do that really quickly. When he received his medal for 50 words, they immediately gave him his spelling list for 150 words, which I believe is the goal for first graders, and he was able to do that pretty quickly also, at least for reading them. And I think around December was when, after several practice spelling tests at home, he was ready to take the spelling test, and it's just taken this long from then until the end of February for the teacher to have time to actually test him. There are definitely a lot of words, so I can imagine it takes a long time to go through that test, but he was finally able to do that this week. And I don't think I had given him a practice test in quite a while because I just didn't know when it was going to happen. But the first day that he took it, there were 3 words that she said were a little iffy, so she gave him those 3 words to work on, and then the next day she just tested those 3 words and he earned his medal. But that was really exciting, and we have really been trying to work on reading comprehension since then, because obviously he can read, but we're trying to work on the questions associated with reading to see how much he really understands of what he's reading. And he's been doing really well, but I know it's not his favorite thing to do. He'd much rather learn about fractions and multiplication, but we're getting there. In my sidebar, I decided to use a top 3 this week because the bottom washi goes all the way across, and I wanted the washi at the top of the page to go across, so there wasn't a ton of space, at least not for an extra full box. And there's also 3 habit trackers in this kit, and I figured I should just use it because these colors are so bright and I don't know if I'd be able to pull them into other spreads. But in my top 3 this week, I did write PJ's 150 word spelling test. I also wrote that Benny stays at home, which I think for the majority of the school year, he was really excited about taking PJ to school and picking him up. He insisted on going even when my husband was home. And every time my husband was home, I would remind him that he had the option. And this week he decided to try it out, which was kind of exciting for me because there is always that extra time spent getting him in and out of the car. When it's just PJ, he can buckle himself in and it's a lot faster, especially when we are rushing to get to school. But this was the first time he really decided that he wanted to try it out. I also wrote that this week was the launch of Ray and Tay, which was super exciting. I think it was kind of teased maybe the end of the previous week or early this week, and a lot of people were trying to figure out what they were going to be selling, and it was pretty exciting once they officially launched. But anyways, this week I pretty much am using mostly stickers from Sweet Bean Plans. I think the only other shop that I used this week was Sweet Quai Design, so I won't be mentioning where every sticker is from. Maybe I'll just point out the ones from Sweet Quai Design. But having so many stickers that match the kit, it kind of made it easier to choose stickers, and it was a much easier pre-planning process this week. Getting into the week, on Monday, I started with a half box that says super important. I added an appointment script from Sweet Quai Design along with a hospital icon to mark that Benny did have a doctor's appointment. This will have been 10 days after his forehead laceration from falling, and this day the bandages were taken off and his wound was healing nicely. So that was really exciting that everything was going well. The next thing I marked was Coffee Monday. Then I added a Dinosaur breakfast flat lay here. I probably didn't make breakfast this morning, but I just wanted to be able to use this flat lay on this half of the week, and this is where I had the room for it. Below that, I used a heart flag to mark a family pickup for PJ. This means that my husband was able to join us, which is always really exciting for PJ. Then I used this adorable dinosaur-themed computer desk sticker to mark editing. And at the bottom of the day, I added my full box day extender. Inside the day extender, I did use a little checklist to mark some of the little things that I did this day. I went on a walk with Benny. I sent some payments, and I made my thumbnail. The last thing I wrote was that PJ had 3 words to practice. The 3 words were just, truck, and teacher. I was a little surprised by truck and teacher because he had never misspelled those words, but I know just he would sometimes use a E instead of a U. So I'm thinking maybe some of his letters just looked like other letters and they weren't really sure what it said, so they just wanted to redo those words. On Tuesday, I started by writing that my husband got a ticket this day. I think this may have been for using the carpool lane. He normally tries to drive at certain times of the day so that he can use the carpool lane, and I don't know what happened this morning. It was pretty early when he got the ticket, so maybe it had just went into effect and he didn't realize. But ever since this day, he's been leaving our house really early, like 4 a.m. at the latest, so that he can use the carpool lane without any worry. The next thing I marked was uploading my Catch Up With Me video for the month of October. The YouTube button is from Sweet Quai Design. Below that, I marked PJ's 150-word spelling test. He didn't receive his medal this day, but he did get an award that says he will be receiving it at the end of the trimester. Underneath the full box, I marked Happy Mail. I love that this kit had some really cute little icons with typography, so I tried to use as many of those as possible. Then I marked Family Zoom with my brother and sister. My brother had been going through different chess puzzles with the boys, and I wanted to mark this night that PJ was asking why certain moves were not correct. And that made me really proud because I could tell that he was really trying to figure out the best ways and just figure out the reasons behind why certain moves were better than others. So instead of just knowing what the right answer was, he really was trying to understand, which was really cool. But at the bottom of this day, I marked watching The Bachelor with my sister. On Wednesday, I started with a couple stickers from some older Sweet Bean Plans kits that I had. I could tell because they are not vinyl. And I think one of them was from a previous anniversary kit, and then one of them was a Harry Potter themed bundle. But I wanted to mark that this was storybook day at PJ's school and he wanted to be Harry Potter. I think most of that was because my cousin's baby shower was Harry Potter themed and we already had the shirt and mask to go with that, and he really loved the shirt that he picked out. But underneath the full box, I marked cleaning the house. This was another older sticker, not vinyl. I think it was on a freebie around the time when the pandemic started, and I'm excited to finally use it in a spread. It matches this kit perfectly. Below that, I wrote that Benny stayed home with my husband for drop-off and pickup. It's strange writing that now because if he has the chance to stay home, he will at this point. But I know that before this day, he was very reluctant to stay home and he almost would get mad every time I suggested it because he insisted on going. But this is why I love memory planning, because it always feels like things have been happening forever, but there's always a start to certain things, and it's just nice to see it written down. In the half box, I wrote that Benny surprised me with a worksheet that I had given him. I think PJ had asked for a color by number that was March themed since it was the beginning of March, and I printed some for Benny, and I was surprised because he could actually read the colors on the worksheet, which I didn't even know that he recognized. This year, we haven't really been working on any preschool things, just here and there, but I know next year I plan to actually have a full preschool schedule for him. But it was just really exciting to see that he could read those words, and that made me excited to get into preschool next year. But the last thing I wrote this day was that PJ says he can tuck himself in. This was a bittersweet moment. I think this was probably the only night where he said, "You don't need to tuck me in, I can do it by myself." And then after that, he said he changed his mind. He wants me to tuck him in. Benny has already gone through phases like that where he just wants to do everything on his own. But I think this was kind of a first for PJ saying that, and it was just a little bittersweet, like I said. Flipping over to Thursday, I started with a planning flat lay because I did some planning this day. And then I marked running some errands. Below that, I wrote that I changed out our wax. And then I marked some more editing this day. Underneath the full box, I wrote that my husband found out that he missed a class. Thankfully, this is all figured out now, but this day he logged back in to his student profile and it said that he was enrolled in the class. It said that he had all these zeros and he didn't do any of his assignments. So he had a 0 in the class and he was completely surprised because he had emailed his counselor in January, I think right before they were supposed to start a class, and he confirmed with her that he did not have a class for this quarter, and he wanted to double check because he thought he was going to have a class every single quarter, but for some reason he wasn't able to get into the class that he needed. And the way this school worked was a lot different than mine because for me, I always had to choose my classes and my professors and all of that. But my husband, I guess his counselor does all of that for him just based on what he needs, which I'm not sure if that's how a lot of master's programs are. But in January, he confirmed that he didn't have a class. And I guess maybe a week after that confirmation was received, she said, "I got you into this different class. You're starting a little late. You were on the wait list or something, and just email the professor and it'll be fine. You can turn in your assignments late and it won't go against your grade." But my husband stopped checking that email after he got that confirmation, so he didn't know until this day, right before his next class was going to start, and he was really stressed. He was emailing her and his professor and trying to figure out what happened. He had gotten charged for that class and he was also trying to figure that out. It was all resolved the next day, but it was definitely a stressful evening. On Friday, I started with the full box. Then I marked that it was a rainy day, which was kind of surprising. Then I wrote that I took a bunch of planner photos, which I actually need to do right now because I'm really behind on posting photos on Instagram. But the next thing I marked was ordering stickers. I feel like Friday is always the day to place tons of orders. Below that, I added a small checklist. I needed to schedule taxes and I also had to reschedule therapy. Our therapy days are normally on every other Friday, but I think for the month of March, we had to do Wednesday mornings. In the half box, I used a sticker from Sweet Koi Design to mark snuggling with the boys and watching The Voice. I do have a parent sticker with 2 kids, but Simon, I think, is the character, and I feel like George just matches this kit better because he is a dinosaur. The last thing I wrote this day was that I went to bed early. I tried to leave a little room just in case I decide to add an icon to go here, but I'm not sure yet. Moving on to the weekend. On Saturday, I marked the launch of Ray and Tay, which was really exciting. Rachel of Gathered Plans and Tay of Shantae Plans launched a business this day and started selling sticker storage items. So they launched with some binders and also sleeves of different sizes to organize all of your stickers. And I purchased 2 binders and a bunch of sleeves to figure out what I needed. But I ended up going with 1 binder for all my kits and the other binder for all of my foil collection. I really loved that there were different sizes of the sleeves, and since it's a binder, you can pull things in and out wherever you need them. As your collection grows, you can just add a sleeve where you need it instead of moving things around sleeve by sleeve, which is what I'm used to doing. But I just love the binder system now, and I don't have a huge foil collection, so I was able to fit everything in 1 binder, all of the different foil colors all together. Below that, I marked some yard work with the boys. We have a bougainvillea plant, and I'm trying to learn how to take care of it. I feel like when we first moved in, I just never looked at our plants outside, and the bougainvillea is definitely an intimidating plant to work with. It kind of just grows like crazy if you don't take care of it, so I've really been trying to trim it down, and it takes a long time because it's really pokey and it can grow really quickly. This was one of the days where I spent time trimming it and trying to figure out where I wanted it to grow. The last thing I marked this day was becoming a member of a podcast that I love. At this point, I've been listening to this podcast for over a year, so I felt like it was time to finally become a member and get access to some of the content that only members get to see. I ended this day with my full box. On Sunday, I started by marking a grocery run. Then I wrote that I FaceTime my sister. The cell phone is from Sweet Quiet Design. I snuck in this little nails done sticker. It was just too cute not to use, so I just fit it in there. But in the half box, I wrote that I snuggled the boys. I really tried to pull in one of every type of sticker from this collection into the spread, and it was just nice for some of the things where I didn't have a specific sticker from Sweet Bean Plans to use. I just pulled in a Polaroid or one of the matching stickers to use there. But at the bottom of this day, I used my full box since this was a double box scene. But that is all I have for this week. Here are all the stickers I have left over. I'll definitely be able to use the dino icons in future spreads. I'm really loving this spread. I just love the bright colors, and I think the spread came together so nicely. I was really trying to be mindful of spreading out all the colors. I think the dark green is definitely bolder than the pink and blue, so I wanted to make sure that was kind of evenly spread out throughout the spread, and I think it looks beautiful all put together. I really love the washi weekend banner. This spread is just so fun and bright and beautiful, and I'm excited I finally used this kit. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.